I want to share with everyone something I find interesting and should be an important headline, but clearly the Western media missed about China. Recently, the Time magazine conducted an interview with Joe Biden by its Washington bureau chief, Massimo Calabresi, and editor-in-chief Sam Jacobs. I think Massimo Calabresi is the main reporter here asking questions. They talked a whole range of the foreign policies, including Ukraine, including Gaza situation, and of course, China. The one thing that caught my eye is this part. So getting to exactly that point, the point about China, okay, pretty much everybody agrees that managing China's rise is the most important foreign policy and national security issue for America and Americans in the coming century. CIO Director Bill Burns says the President Xi Jinping of China has ordered the Chinese military to be ready by 2027 to conduct a successful invasion of Taiwan. You said on multiple occasions that you would use U.S. forces to defend Taiwan. What does that mean? Is it boots on the ground? What shape would that take? Now, this is the first time I heard a clear deadline, 2027, that according to Bill Burns, that's Xi Jinping's deadline before unify with Taiwan, with mainland. Okay, so that's itself I find interesting. But Biden's answer is even more interesting. Biden, it would depend on the circumstances. By the way, I've made it clear to Xi Jinping that we agree with. We signed on to previous presidents going way back to the policy of that we are not seeking independence for Taiwan, nor will we. In fact, not defend Taiwan if China unilaterally tries to change its status. And so we are continuing to supply capacity and we've made in consultation with our allies in the region. This sentence is most important, that he clearly made a promise to President Xi Jinping that if China unilaterally tries to change the status, US is not going to defend Taiwan. What he says follow the continue to supply capacity is basically what he's doing right now to sell arms to Taiwan that they have been doing for decades. So that's nothing new here, right? And they're in consultation with other allies in the region, mainly, I guess, the Philippines. And the ASEAN country, I can also tell you, are not interested in involved in the Taiwan situation whatsoever. And they most definitely would want to see United States to get involved. There's a war break between US and China. This is not anybody in ASEAN would want to see. I can promise you that, right? Of course, the reporter does not asking those kind of questions. What did the allies in the region say? But nonetheless, here is, I think Biden said it's very clear that the US is not going to defend Taiwan. This is the first time I've heard it so clear, right? But instead of focusing and the follow-up question let Biden to clarify, to repeat that, this is what he asked. So if I might, not ruling out the possibility of deploying US troops to Taiwan in the case of an invasion. Biden just said not defend Taiwan if China unilaterally tries to change the status. Biden just said that. So you see, he's very misleading in this question. He's trying to get the Biden to say that he's not ruling out. And this is Biden's answer, not ruling out using US military force. There's a distinction between deploy on the ground, air power, and naval power. I don't know what this means, honestly, but it is clear to me that he already said, again, not defend Taiwan if China unilaterally tries to change the status, right? So whatever he's saying afterwards, and don't forget that's the promise he made to Xi Jinping. So whatever he said afterwards is not as significant as he just said. And then he continued to ask, so you're maybe striking from bases in the Philippines or Japan. Is that Biden? I'm not going to get into that. You would then criticize me with a good reason if I were to tell you. Okay, so these answers doesn't really tell me much, but that sentence is very clear. This is the first clear as it is, as it can get, that US is not going to defend the Taiwan. Right. And don't forget, this is not just talking to a reporter. He himself claimed this is the promise he made to Xi Jinping. Right. How come that's not a headline everywhere? And if you look at the reportings, there are different headlines. This one, Kyoto News, Biden says not ruling out use of US forces to defend Taiwan. Japan Times, Biden says he won't rule out use of the U.S. military to defend Taiwan. The Economics Times, U.S. President Biden says not ruling out using military force to defend Taiwan. Notice none of them mentioned that Biden actually made a promise to Xi Jinping that U.S. is not going to get involved. It is very clear to me. And yet nobody seems to pay attention to that. The mainstream, very typical, and including the questions that the reporter asked, following questions that this reporter asked, he very much want Biden to promise there's for not ruling out the forces. But Biden already said that. So this is something I find interesting and I find very troubling because for once, Biden actually telling the truth. I believe he's telling the truth that this is the promise he made to Xi Jinping. And there's nobody paying attention to. Everybody is paying attention to the follow-up questions. He has not ruled out, but doesn't mean he's going to do anything about it. I don't even know what he meant. Oh, there's a difference between naval and air and etc. Right? I don't even know what it means. And it's not that important. The important thing is he made a promise to Xi Jinping. Nobody pays attention to it. Nobody even report on that, including this reporter himself. For him, not ruling out the possibility to defend Taiwan seems more important than the fact that Biden actually made a promise to Xi Jinping. I find that remarkable. Now, we can make an argument that the Biden is not reliable. You can't really trust him. He changes his mind all the time. Yes, that's true. But this is a promise he made to Xi Jinping, which I find extraordinary that nobody pay attention to. So I want to share with you. That's all for now. Please hit the like button if you like my program and subscribe. Thank you.